All right. We're back for another episode of the Bad Ideas podcast with David Barbuto, CEO of You Break I Fix by Assurion. Thanks so much for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So how did you get there? I mean, you were with Assurion for a little while, and then the acquisition happened, and now you guys have like thousands of employees. It seems like huge.
Yeah. I've been at Assurion for almost 18 years, but the CEO of You Break I Fix by Assurion for the last 3. I just had a lot of different jobs at Assurion, mostly operational jobs with some product management jobs and technology jobs. And after the acquisition in 2019, the company, it ran as a somewhat integrated into Assurion. And then at one point in about 2021, we decided it's better to be a standalone. So the founders decided they were going to step away from the business, and the leadership at Assurion asked me if I'd run it. So here I am.
And here you are. How's the ride been the last 3 years?
Stressful, fun, learned a lot. It's been great. I've gotten a lot of experience that I wouldn't have got otherwise, for sure. It's a challenging industry. It's retail. It's point of need. So you know, every sale you're really trying to work for providing great service and then being available for the next one. But it's not really a recurring revenue business. So every day is a new day, and the scorecard starts over. So
that's intense. It's super intense, especially at that scale.
Yeah, man, you got to win every day.
Yeah. Did you find, like, when you transitioned over, because Assurion is in the service space too,
Sure
was it a total transformation of the service you're offering, or was there a lot you could kind of borrow from the mothership?
Yeah, there's a ton of value and a lot of synergy. So Assurion repairs a lot of phones for its insurance programs for the carriers. And so it was a natural complement, like, for us to be able to provide a point of need repair service out to customers, direct to consumer, for carrying. And so that made a lot of sense for Assurion from an acquisition standpoint. And now we use that to continue to service those actual carrier programs and provide more services, more monthly subscription services and things that allow people to protect all the technology in their home. So yeah, it's cool.
Have you guys launched new products and services since the acquisition, or is it pretty much the same set?
Yeah, no, it's been several. We've launched cleaning services. A lot of people don't know this, but your phone operates much better, and so does your laptop, and certainly your gaming consoles operate much better when they're clean. They gather a lot of dust. They get a lot of debris inside them over time, and so one of the things that we do is we offer cleaning services, and they're reasonably priced, $20 or $30 depending on the device, and it can make your device work a lot better. A lot of people think their device is broken or it's just slow, but it's just a matter of being dirty.
Yeah, so. Right. Because now they're waterproof, so people, especially down here in Florida, people bring them to the beach, and you have a whole beach inside your phone. I had no idea. That's a learning for me.
Well, the summertime is our busiest time of year. Just people are out. People, and almost every single holiday where people travel, we see a spike in broken devices and people that need help. So we're on call when most people are vacationing. That's kind of our motto.
That's super wild. We this is probably last summer, I think, last September. I have a slight addiction to buying used iPads.
How did that start?
It's like 60% off. They release a new iPad and everyone sells their old one.
Yeah.
You can often find something basically mint that just nobody used, and then they gifted a new one or whatever. But I got one that was basically mint, but there was a crack in the screen.
Yep.
And found these guys that actually came to my apartment and replaced the screen.
That's awesome.
And it's like the nicest device in the house now. I just didn't know that stuff existed before that experience. And then to stumble across you guys, I mean, you do it at scale. Like, this is just you guys in a van. Like,
We have 400 vans where we take out to customers' homes around the country. We'll drive as far as like 70 or 80 miles away from a store to pick up a device and repair it at the customer's house. It was really popular during COVID, as you can imagine, but it's remained popular. We'll also fix other devices remotely so people don't have to travel or go anywhere.
So this, if this stumbled our way, this probably would have made the show as a bad idea, like on demand, like electronic servicing, but I guess we can't do that because you have a little business.
No, it's a good idea. We make money on it. It's not that bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the how would be so elusive, but I mean, you guys figured it out and it's working, and that's amazing.
There's a lot that goes behind it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's the focus of the show. So we're about to announce the bad idea, and like we were talking about before this, I think our focus is to show all the operational work that goes into building something, which, I mean, you've done at Assurion. Now you're leading Ubreak iFix that a lot of people don't ever get to see. You know, if they're not part of something that's moving that fast, you know, they see a keynote from Tim Cook and there's that, and then
Sounds
Shark
amazing.
Tank.
Yeah,
but there's nothing else. Like, how did you make the service? How did you bring it to market? How did you grow
behind
it?
the curtain? Yeah.
You know, everyone, I think there's this perception that people just raise a ton of money and then build a unicorn, but it's a grind behind the scenes, and you're doing that every day, which is
absolutely
what we want to kind of showcase. So order of operations, we're going to read this bad idea. Hopefully it's not too bad. Then you and I will make fun of it for 10 minutes. And
can we go longer if it's really bad?
Yeah. Rip it up. It's supposed to be entertaining. But yeah, generally we tend to run out of bad stuff to say pretty quickly. Mainly because you're an operator. You'll probably be like, oh, we already solved that problem.
We can fix that. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And then we'll try to turn it into something good if we can. But, along the way, hopefully borrow from your experience over the last 18 years or so.
Yeah, I'd love to.
All right, ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's see what we got. Our bad idea today is, this is perfect for you. It's infinite loop customer support. So it's a customer support service that limits agent load by redirecting customer complaints into an infinite loop.
Are we looking for customer exhaustion? Is that the way that you win?
I don't know.
Like eventually they give up. Are you hoping to get off the loop? Is that the objective?
I assume that's the idea. Like if we can discourage you enough. I mean, this makes me think of those
There's some companies that actually have this today. They don't know they have this, but they actually do have this. So
yeah, they just didn't map it out. I can give you some
examples recently. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that must be the idea, right? If the loop can discourage you from asking for help, why would you stay on? Maybe they'll, if you ignore the problem, it goes away. Is that the philosophy?
Well, I mean, back in the day, if you remember, probably 7, 8, 9 years ago, the idea was there was no phone numbers on websites. We won't let you call us for your customer service problem. That's how we'll solve this. There are no problems because you can't call us.
Yeah, we don't know.
And we know you don't like to chat, despite our best efforts to make chat amazing. We know you don't like to do it. So, yeah, that was the sort of rudimentary version of it. But this sounds more elegant, actually. More like we want to get you on the loop and then circle you for a while until you're exhausted. There's some airlines that do this too, but physically. So there's that.
Yeah, they redirect you to a different department that sends you to a different department, so you're on hold.
Yeah, or they put you on a plane and you circle for a long time and you don't land.
Oh, yeah.
You get nice and frustrated.
Physically, yeah. I mean, that's a big one. Airlines, I mean, all the Boeing stuff that's going on now, like somebody's got to level up their service systems. When you're at the airport and your flight gets delayed for 6 hours, like that disrupts your life.
Yeah,
the fact that you can do nothing. There's no recourse.
I think the government's looking to pass some law that if after a certain amount of time you get delayed or canceled, that you get a mandated refund. That's pretty, and like a reward or something, like compensation for it. I don't know if it's passed Congress yet, but it's out there.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't
get upset about it.
I don't like regulatory enforcement because then it goes sideways and certain people get a pass. And
that's true.
But someone, I mean, like with you guys, right? You have to outcompete Apple, right? And Samsung. So people come to you because it's a better experience. I think that's the way it should be solved.
Oh, totally. Right? Yeah, people should have choice. And, we pride ourselves on being the best in the country at repairing devices quickly and solving them the first time and making the experience great. And so, I mean, that's the way it should be.
How do you, coming back to our loop, I mean, you guys do this at scale. You have thousands of employees. How many staff?
We have about 4,000 folks across our 700 stores and 400 vans.
Yeah. So mind-boggling scale. But you're thinking about these guys are infinite loop customer support. So they're trying to automate and disassociate. You guys have thousands of staff that are delivering service. Yeah. I imagine the attempted solve is decreasing the cost per service interaction.
Sure.
So I'm sure you guys have that as a KPI, but you're leaning into it. You're trying to deliver better service. How do you justify the economics of it, or how do you look at it in a way that encourages you to serve versus?
Well, I think stores have to be incented to do it right the first time, and they are. Mm-hmm. And we think about 30% of our business comes back within the next 6 to 9 months. So that's super important to us. So we pride ourselves on making sure the experience you have is great, so that you do come back. That's super important. The next thing is we think about, like, when a customer has a complaint and it escalates to a certain point, there are triggers. And at some point, the cost of just making that customer happy has to be considered versus continuing to pass them along to the next step in the process. And so one of my mentors told me one time, it's probably about 15 years ago, she said, at this point in the process, we're spending as much money as if we would have just given that customer a $500 gift card and told them we're really sorry. So at what point do you make that decision and really just set them up? And maybe it's $500, maybe it's replace the device, maybe it's, give them a brand new one, whatever it is. But like, there is a point in the process where you gotta think about the long-term cost of this, not only for that customer but for you.
Unless it's an infinite loop and they can never find a way to you.
If we could go back to the infinite loop for a second, do you think there's a max capacity on the loop? Like, is there only so many seats on the loop train, or can you just put as many people on there as you want?
I don't think they've thought that far. I think this is the whole, one person with the automation handling thousands of customer requests with the loop.
I hope that person doesn't take a vacation. It sounds like it's not a scalable solution, but maybe it is.
Yeah, or somebody's going to find them because they couldn't get through to customer support.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah, and people dig in. That's a pretty special thing. So the 30% number is huge, and that's a really easy cost benefit, right? If 30% reduces or produces X in revenue for you, you compare that to the cost of a solution. Like, there's no need for a loop.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And we measure the number of complaints per 100,000 interactions we have. We track it monthly. We use Net Promoter Score, obviously, and 5-star reviews on Google is a big metric for us. And so we're keenly aware of where are our deficiencies. And sometimes it's really simple. Like, you get a store, you have some new employees in the store, they know how to fix a lot of devices, but maybe this thing that you brought in they haven't fixed yet. And so it's a little harder for them. And maybe they make a mistake, or they take longer than they expected. But we pride ourselves, one of our sort of mottos is that we can fix anything with a power button. And we've had elliptical machines brought into our stores because it's got a power button, and people hear that and go, okay, well then you can fix this elliptical. We've had hunting scopes, thousands of dollars in value, brought into stores. We had the dash screen off of BMW. Someone brought into a store, and we had to fix the LCD on the BMW.
And you did it?
Yeah, we did it. And we just hire amazing people, and they figure it out. Like, they do their research if it's not one of the things we fixed before, because we do have a network of knowledge base that people can go and search for, how do you fix this thing that we haven't seen. But every once in a while, something walks in we've never seen before. And so, yeah, it's pretty wild. And that's where you get the creativity and the ingenuity of the team. They're just really, really solid.
So this, it's coming back to that bad idea comment I made before we read ours. Like, your business would absolutely qualify as bad idea for the podcast because there's no recurring revenue, and you're not standardizing the service, and you've still found a way to make it work.
Yeah. It's a need. It's a real need, and customers don't like to deal with broken technology. They don't like to deal with technology that's not working. There's a real need there. And we've started to build some subscription services that we think are really valuable to customers for phones or devices that they don't bring into the store. So we do offer a monthly subscription service for a product called Home Plus, and it protects everything in a customer's home short of their phone. And not appliances, but anything else that's electronic that connects to the internet will fix, replace, or buy out.
You come to the house.
We can come to the house. We can help with install if you need it. We can help you diagnose the problem, or you can bring it in after you submit a claim, and we'll repair it or replace it or pay you out on it. Yeah, it's really valuable. A lot of people. We probably get somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 out of 100 folks sign up for it every time they walk in the store. So it's great.
Because it's kind of a no-brainer. Like insurance, you have to fight for a claim. You guys just send out staff. That's what anybody really wants, right?
Yeah, it's convenient. For a monthly recurring fee, you get a lot of support. And for folks that don't want to deal with it, sometimes it's just a hassle. Sometimes it's knowledge. Like, we're there.
You guys got to break into the auto industry.
Nobody wants to do that.
I know.
Nobody wants to do that. It's tough.
The supply controlled. Yeah, this, infinite loop. I mean, it's amazing just contrasting it to your business. These guys are trying to neglect certain pieces of it or find a way to create a business by diminishing the need or the load of something that your company's kind of like made its name on addressing. Yeah,
absolutely. And I don't know what the long-term proposition is on the infinite loop. I don't know. Like, it's certainly cheaper.
You don't have to staff customer service anymore.
Yeah, it's certainly cheaper. But at the end of the day, I mean, we spend a lot more time thinking about why customers have problems and try to eliminate the root cause. When a customer has a problem, we feel really good about our processes to actually get them out of that problem and solve it for them. But we're looking way upstream to that on a regular basis. That's the real key, is like make sure there's not problems in the first place. Like that's what everybody wants. So even if you can solve it quickly, that's great when you encounter them, but like, how do you avoid them in the first place, Yeah.
So I got to ask, when you guys came up with the subscription service, the Home Plus, I think you called it.
Yep.
Did you do a bunch of market testing beforehand? Like, how did you decide, it's your own bad idea, right? Like, how did you decide that this is the right thing and this needs to go out to folks? And how did you figure out how to price it, figure out how to service it, and eventually kind of bring it to market?
Yeah, we did a lot of market research. Asurion did a lot of market research on this. One of the things that we found is that most customers don't have a one OEM strategy in their house. Sure, they have Apple devices and iPads, but they might have a Google Nest, or they might have some other Wi-Fi router, and so you get really bifurcated in your house, and you have an assortment of different OEMs, and the problem is there's no one that solves all of those issues for you. So you have to go to Apple for this, you have to go to Google for that, you have to call your retailer that you bought this thing at to get a warranty, or you have to call some manufacturer you've never heard of, and so we said, well, how do we create something that you just call us and we'll handle it no matter where it is and what it is, and what's the right price for that, and what's the right service fees for that when you actually have a claim. And so we did a bunch of market testing. We found the right price points. We found what sells, and then we had to build out the back end of it, right? We had to have the right supply chain infrastructure. We had to have the right parts. We had to have the right technicians to deliver the service when you bring it in. And then we have to train everybody to sell it and service it. When you come to us and say, hey, something broke, that needs to be a really simple service because you're paying monthly for it. So it can't be we put you through the ringer to get that claim made. We gotta make sure it's really, really great.
Well, isn't that so? This infinite loop is kind of like the insurance company MO, right? Like you pay for the insurance, but then you have to get it evaluated, and you have to drive and then wait. Because they don't want to pay either. We did an episode? I don't think it's published yet. I think 2 months ago, where someone told us that at some point Blue Cross was randomly denying like every 10th claim. Just to decrease costs. Like there wasn't even a review process. And I think they went through a lawsuit, and I don't think it was an intentional thing. I think it was like a system automation gone wrong, but it was happening.
That's bad.
Yeah, which is kind of
that's bad. Yeah, we make people level decisions on denying what we believe would be a fraudulent claim. And there's a million ways you can look for the data to tell you if you think it is or it isn't. So we have a pretty sophisticated system over 25 years of being really, really good at that.
Yeah, it's critical. Make sure you're not abused, especially when you're offering something so open.
Totally. Right. Yeah, it's a great service. The NPS is really high. People really enjoy it. We, the subscriptions we have really, moderate to low churn on the product, and that continues to get better as we make the service better. So yeah, we're excited about it.
That's so wild. And you did it, backwards from conventional thinking. You didn't start with a subscription. You started by finding a really efficient way to deliver an on-demand service.
Yeah.
But you probably can't really control the market for it. People's stuff has to break.
Yeah. You know the seasonality, and what things might drive it. But yeah, it's, I think almost everybody in the United States, there's more cell phones than there are people. So there's not a lot of growth in net new users. And the carriers see that. That's one of the challenges that they face, is there are not net new users joining their networks in large numbers. So it's really about
taking
competing.
Them from each other.
Yeah, they're just fighting. So that's why you see the upgrade programs. That's why you see all the different rebates they do, all the trade-in value that they create, because they're trying to steal those customers from each other, which makes sense. That's the strategy at this point.
So for you guys, it's just availability. Like, how do you serve a bigger and bigger group?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And more things. Like laptops and gaming consoles are one that we have a high expertise in. And gaming is an exploding industry, as you know, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It just continues to get bigger and bigger. The systems get more and more complex, and speed matters. My son built his own computer, and I was giving him a hard time. I was like, you got a brand new PlayStation. Like, why do you still want to use the computer? And he's like, well, the computer's faster, and like milliseconds matter when I'm trying to kill someone on Fortnite. And I'm like, I didn't realize this is dialed in so specifically, but it is. So yeah, performance of the machine matters when it comes to trying to win these games or not win the games, and so we help with that. We make them better.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's cool.
Man, it's just impressive that it's scaled that way. My mind just keeps coming back. I've had so many investor conversations where they go straight to recurring, and if it's not a simple recurring sale, it doesn't get backed.
Yeah.
So to see something that's like at your level, that's a one-off, and it's capacity based, and the service changes almost every time.
Yeah,
that's working. Like it's proven is working is pretty killer.
Well, I think we sort of have this internal motto about serving, solving, and selling, and that's how we approach every interaction we have with the customer. We got to give them great service. We got to solve their problem. Those are the ticket to offer the customer a recurring revenue product if they don't already have one. If we serve them well, if we solve their issue quickly and effectively and at the right price, then we've earned the right to sell them a subscription service and make an offer that we think is tailored to the needs they have. And if we do that well, we can grow that base. And so we've been effective at that.
There you go. So no infinite loops, though.
No,
this would be a bad idea.
It would be a very bad idea. Yeah, I mean, it sure would be fun to watch it happen, but I don't know that it's a great idea.
Yeah. How do you think about automating customer service? That's got to be the idea. Like they're trying to remove human touches from the service standpoint. How do you think about automation?
Yeah, I mean, I think the usage of AI and bots and even offline or asymmetrical like means of communicating with customers are all positive movements towards the cost structure of serving. I think the frustration customers have is, I mean, let's just go a little bit old school here, but like I called yesterday. I called my preferred hotel chain. I had a trip that I'm planning with my son, and I had to change rooms. And I could have done it on the app, but it wasn't designed in an easy way for me to select one night change that I wanted to make for a series of nights. So I called them, and they put me through 4 or 5 different pound this, press that, choose this till I got to the right one. And at one point, it felt like they weren't going to let me get an operator, so I just kept saying operator. I mean, I look at that and go, if I've told you no once, don't make me tell you no twice. Like I need to speak to someone, or 6 times. Yeah. I told you I need to speak to someone. Your job now is to put me in contact with someone that can solve this problem. I mean, I look at so I guess the point there is, if you can design it in a way that it feels more human and that it's intuitive, which is the quest that everybody's going through right now, then there's a solution there. I think our approach is automate the things that are simple and sort of behind the scenes and unnecessary. And when it comes to the complex conversation about something specific, we want to be able to connect you to a human if you want it. Now, there are plenty of those that we keep chipping away at and going, hey, we can automate that one and we can use AI here. And so we're doing that like everybody, I think. But, it's just, I think at the end of the day, service matters. I mean, Americans have gotten to a point where convenience, speed, and service is important, and they'll pay for it. And so focusing only on the cost to serve, I think, misses the point of growing your business. Like it just does. Like, because along the way, you're going to upset a lot of people. Now, some people have figured it out really well. Some people, I've never called Uber. I've never called them. I've done everything I need over the app, and it's pretty functional and it works, right? Like I don't need to call them. So I think if you can do it in the right way, it's doable. But like, I'm not sure everybody starts in the right spot there.
Yeah, just put it in a pocket. I think the interesting piece with AI is it's so buzz heavy that people don't understand. It's still just a referencing tool. Like it's not understanding yet. It's just really, really accurately referencing things.
Yeah.
But within that, I think there's a huge opportunity for someone who wanted to do some kind of loop like this, instead of deliberately trying to waste the time of the customer, so you discourage them, look at it as a way to gather all the information you would need to diagnose the problem.
Yes.
And AI probably wouldn't know what the next question is, but it'd be great at kind of mirroring back what it understands the problem to be.
Sure.
And I think that's the easiest way to make the customer feel like they're understood and give them the opportunity to correct you multiple times if they have to. To get to like the right thing. So by the time a live person's on, they have a dossier about what's going on. And you could even use that to route it to someone who has proven experience solving that kind of problem, so you can get right to a solution.
For sure. We use that in our call centers. We have thousands and thousands of call center technicians around the world that support our products. And they have an AI assisted scout effectively that's sitting next to them that's prompting the technician or the associate to provide an option to a customer based on what they're hearing. I mean, I think the key to all this though is to know where the off ramp is. You got to know where the off ramp is. You got to know like, hey, we've gotten to the point where AI has reached what it can do for you in this one interaction, and I can pull you off the highway and I can put you directly at the rest area with the person that can help you. And you want to continue to like reduce the number of off ramps right over time. That's the objective. But like knowing where they are in the beginning is really important.
I almost wonder so they're trying to save cost. My assumption is they're trying to save cost by limiting your need for human resources to serve. But I think you could probably make up for that cost by using this diagnosis or technology to diagnose. So you simplify the amount of actual service time the live rep has to do.
For sure.
You're not saving costs by reducing service. You're saving costs by reducing the
shrinking the amount of time. For sure. Yeah, I mean, labor is your largest expense here, and so if you can make that experience shorter with the actual associate, there's money to be saved there for sure.
Interesting. Do you guys build all of your own service tech, or do you use third-party vendors to help you out?
No, we generally build it all. Our business is pretty unique, and so there's software that will bolt on to our platforms that are helpful, but a lot of this is homegrown, and we develop it in-house because we think it's the right way to provide like a unique and customized solution for our specific business.
Yeah, that's so wild. So you're building your own tech, you're solving like one-off microtransactions at scale, most of which is non-recurring, and rolling out recurring on top of it and handling the service load.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot of systems.
Yeah, it's great though. And at the end of the day, it comes back to, I think you kind of mentioned this, but if you start with, do you have great people? If you have great people delivering the primary and first service, everything after that gets a lot easier. It gets a lot cheaper and a lot easier. And so like, I think we put a premium on finding unbelievable talent in our stores and in our call centers to support like the service itself. And that reduces, and we put them through the right training, and we have coaching programs and development programs, and we're investing in them, and we care about retention, and it's a key KPI we look at every single week. And so, for us, if we get that right, everything else happens really, really well afterwards, and you have less service events in the first place.
Yeah. Limit service costs by effectively serving. What idea?
It's novel.
No loop needed.
That's right. That's right.
All
exactly.
Right. So what's the verdict then? We think this is definitely a bad idea. Trying to trap
I
people.
think so. I mean, I'm interested in it just because it sounds kind of sexy, but I don't know where the off ramp is, and that makes me nervous.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of value add other than distracting your customer until they go away.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, service through exhaustion.
There we go. Well, I really appreciate you hopping on and kind of brainstorming with me. I think I'm kind of blown away that you actually built a lot of this stuff already. So we didn't have to invent the business. You're running one.
Yeah.
That's already doing a lot of this stuff. This is really cool. Super grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me on, Nick. If you come up with more bad ideas and you want some more,
that's all I do.
There. Yeah, man. If I find some, which I do on occasion, I'll send them to you.
Yeah. Well, this is also one of the few businesses we've had on that people can kind of interact with right away. So
yep.
I think everyone watching this show is doing so on a device that you could help with. So immediate relevance, which is good. Yeah. But do you do any advising or speaking? How can people find you if they want to get in touch?
Yeah, I mean, they can certainly search me online. I'm on LinkedIn. I have a profile there, and I think if you have something with a power button and you need it fixed, you can absolutely bring it into your local U-Break iFix by Asurion store. We have 700 locations around the world or around the country. 400 vans will come to you if that's what you want, or you can bring it into any of our stores. And most devices, certainly mobile devices, we can fix in an hour. So you can go down to the coffee shop, get a cup of coffee, not have the anxiety of not having your phone for too long, and we'll take care of it for you.
Yeah. Well, they've heard it from Dave, so they understand what the back end looks like. I think there's some motivation now to see it on the front end and experience it firsthand. So thank you so much for giving us that perspective. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Nick.
All right, awesome. We'll do it again.
All right, man. See ya.